Hey guys, Dr. Anderson here, and I'm, as you can see, hiking. I'm west of where I live here in Fort Collins, Colorado. If you're new to this YouTube channel, understand many times I have thoughts come to me, and I like to share some of these ideas with you and thoughts. And I go on these hikes, and whatever comes out, and we'll see how this works. But before I start talking, and I'm going to be talking about restless legs primarily, and kind of where we're at with the state of what we do to reverse your restless legs. But I want to kind of pan around here just to kind of share the setting here. We're west of where I live. Hopefully you can see the vista here. It's getting a little bit colder this time of year. Even had a bit of snow about a week ago here. But again, I want to start out talking about Facebook support groups, because we've really been starting to see more and more support from Facebook support groups. We really appreciate that. And it wasn't always that way historically. So I want to kind of go back historically about nerve issues, primarily restless legs, and maybe a little bit of neuropathy, but kind of tell you where we've been and where we're going. I recently was at an Association of Extremity Nerve Surgeons meeting in Florida, and just it's really interesting where we're at and where we're going with these concepts that I want to share. But anyway, getting back to Facebook support groups, we had a lady, it might have been like 4 years ago, that had a comment on a Facebook support group. Basically, she told the history of how several years before then she had been to me, and she had great success with the restless legs, and shared that on the Facebook support group, and actually got like hate messages. People were messaging her, "How dare you? This is a scam. This can't work. How can this be?" And it really upset her, obviously, and because she was having great success, and she was just trying to be a good person and share. And so she came back out of the bushes, went into hiding for a while, maybe several years, and then came back on. And it was like, now that she started seeing more people in that Facebook group were interested in this at least, or considering it, or maybe had even come here and had some success, that it was okay to comment. So anyway, she came back, 3 or 4 years later, saying, hey, I'd been to this doctor. I've been doing well for many years now, and I tried to share this, and kind of like, how dare you, send me hate messages. So a lot of people got back on and apologized and kind of welcomed her back to the group. And if she's listening, it'd be great if she kind of commented. I'd love to hear her story more. But she's a lady from, I think it was Western Nebraska, but this is some time ago. But understand, I expect that. Anytime you come up with a new idea, new concept, it's going to be met with resistance. And we have a lot of that going on in our healthcare system in America right now. And that, I think, kind of leads me into, so again, thank you if you're in a Facebook support group, and consider sharing this video. Or, if you've already had success with this, I really appreciate the support that you've offered us so far. So I want to get back to the meeting I was at, and just understand that with restless legs, this takes a long time to change the paradigm, big paradigm shift for those out there in the medical world to actually believe that there's a way to help get rid of this, that there's actually a cause, that is, and the root cause could be tightness of nerve tunnels in the legs. So, but that takes me back to my original training. The history of that goes back over 20 years. I was trained by a professor of neurosurgery and plastic surgery at Johns Hopkins. His name's Dr. Lee Dellin. Basically, at the beginning, it was all about diabetic neuropathy, and he was the first doctor to find out, and he did basic research on animals, and then eventually led into humans, that he was able to reverse diabetic neuropathy by opening up nerve tunnels that become tight in the lower extremity. And I had my training from him. And maybe about a decade after that, we found a couple other nerve tunnels in the lower extremity that really seemed to be implicated with causing restless legs. And right now we have one paper published, and hopefully we're going to have another paper published pretty soon, documenting our success. And you can go on our website and see at least the initial paper that's on there. But anyway, getting back to this, at the meeting I was at in Florida, it was just amazing still to this day how healthcare in general has not adopted and welcomed and embraced what we do as surgeons to reverse diabetic and non-diabetic neuropathy. It's a very, very, very slow process. And it just fascinates me. I mean, it's been over 20 years now, folks, that there have been doctors that have been able to reverse neuropathy. And to me, neuropathy, sorry if you have restless legs, but out there, but really, if you have especially diabetic neuropathy, that's a really big health care concern in this country, because guess what? It leads to amputation. And amputations are very costly, and they're very lethal, because once you start having amputations of a limb, the fatality rate goes up very rapidly. And coming back from this meeting, it's amazing how many studies are out there and more information to help show that if you have surgery for your neuropathy and you're diabetic, the ulcer recurrence rate or prevention of ulcers is tremendously improved. And we've known this for a long time, but there's just much more volume of information to support that. And so it's extremely frustrating when you see this and see all the suffering, with neuropathy, people falling, breaking hips, dying earlier than they should, or having amputations and dying earlier than they should. And the public still doesn't know about it. I mean, it's really, a bit of it is controlled by Big Pharma. We gave your lack of knowledge of that because they promote the drugs so much. We actually had a paper, we actually had 2 papers on reversal of neuropathy in diabetics, and we did intraoperative nerve testing to show that nerve function improves in the operating room. And we never were able to give a talk at American Diabetic Association meeting. Had some very good authors and writers on the paper. It wasn't just me doing this paper. A lot of rigor in the study, but it wasn't accepted. So I'm just trying to tell you, there's this undercurrent of resistance to this. And yes, things should be scrutinized, but we're really being scrutinized way more than would be expected. And just to jump off to another topic here, I'm hoping with the new administration and Robert Kennedy, if he has some control of this, if maybe he will, I hope he does, because I think it might create a little bit more space for ideas and concepts that aren't always related to Big Pharma. Because I think a lot of you are probably shaking your heads up and down now, because it's really true. They really control a lot, and some of it's really good. But man, when it comes to lower extremity nerve issues, neuropathy and restless legs, they dominate the narrative. So anyway, I just wanted to explain that to you, and that when you come back over now to restless legs, I think it's going on the same journey. It's going to take a long time for this to get known. I think it's going to take a while, because if it's taking a long time for diabetic neuropathy, it stands to reason, probably same thing with restless legs. Because a lot of you that I'm talking to out there, you'll jump ship. You're pretty quick to understand and trust this idea, and it takes courage oftentimes to jump from what mainstream healthcare is telling you and then come over to where I'm at and go, hey, I'm going to listen to this guy. I trust him. It sounds reasonable, and I'm willing to come out and see him from wherever you are. I had one lady I'm just thinking about that we interviewed about a month ago from Georgia. I mean, I can't remember how long it took her, but she met resistance from her, doctors in Georgia, from all her family in Georgia. It took a lot of guts and courage to come see me, and she's doing fantastic. So understand that you're not going to, this may not be an easy journey, because you talk to people and this isn't mainstream. So, this restless legs business. In fact, going back, I think it was about 5 years ago, I gave a talk, at a medical group. It's actually called the Society of Entrepreneurial Physicians. It's a good group of doctors that are pretty innovative in their thinking. I presented my study on restless legs, and the doctor that runs the meeting got up afterwards and said, that's a great talk. There's a lot of good data here. It sounds very like good science. Sounds like this stuff is the real deal. But he said, one thing about Dr. Anderson and what he's doing, he kind of warned everybody, this kind of concept that he's sharing is probably going to take about 17 years to be fully adopted in the healthcare community. And because he's in that space, he's a professor at a local medical school, and an MD, but he understands how slow it is for things to move forward, especially if you don't have outside interests like Big Pharma promoting what you do. And we don't have any monetization of what we do in terms of what I do for Restless Legs. There's nobody that can gain any revenue or income by supporting and moving forward what I do. And so that's why I'm on YouTube explaining this to you. So that's kind of where we're at. And I really, those are some thoughts I want to share with you about Restless Legs. And maybe I need to end this with just understanding that, with your understanding that one of the shifts in my book I wrote, it's called The Perfect Night's Sleep. It's on Amazon. You might want to purchase it. It really helps to learn for your sake why how I got in the position to learn about this, and also got so passionate about it I started sharing information and doing research and such. But the point I want to make, there's 5 shifts in this book we talk about if you're wanting to change how you think of things in the world of Restless Legs. One of the big ones is you've got to jump away from the crowd. You absolutely have to move from the crowd. And it's very interesting because the majority of patients that come to me are what I call early adopters. They're the people that just can make a decision on their own. They research it, they dig into it, they go, man, this makes sense. And they actually pick up the phone, they call, we do a Zoom meeting, we evaluate them, see if it's appropriate, and away they go. I mean, some of these people, it's like within 2 days, they're ready to go and move forward and shift away from what they've been told. Because so many of you get very frustrated. You've been told there's nothing you can do, and you feel helpless because it's just like a merry-go-round. You cannot get further. You just have the drugs. And so just understand that you have to make that shift. For some of you, you're just not wired that way. Maybe it isn't in your DNA, and you're going to need more people that have had success before you feel comfortable. You're not an early adopter. Some of you, if you're late adopters, maybe you don't even have cell phones yet. I don't know, but it just tends to be, there are some people that just tend to be early adopters of everything in life. And those are the ones that tend to come here. They don't have to wait till the masses are doing it. And so anyway, some things I wanted to share with you, and I'm looking forward, especially moving forward in the next 4 years. I'm just saying with the administration, I'm pretty positive about this. I think it could be a really good thing. Shifting around a bit of how we're looking at healthcare, and hopefully it's going to help doctors like myself or other doctors that are very innovative with new ideas to understand that this is really a good thing for folks. I like to think when I'm doing this for some of you, it's really helping your marriages. It's helping your depression. It's helping your general health in more ways than I ever dreamt I could do as a podiatrist. I've been very blessed. I feel very fortunate that I'm in this position. So with that, I'm going to let you go. Maybe I'll pan around here. There's some deer right down there. I don't know if you can see them. I'm not sure if I'm aiming the camera right, but I think they're listening in. I wonder if they have restless legs. So anyway, I'll let you go. And thank you for watching. And consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. And we're also on Facebook. So I've got to continue my hike. And you all have a good rest of your day wherever you are. Thanks.